The answer is yes. Waiters do mess with customers and their food, especially if you're a jerk. Witness a Domino's sandwich being defiled by a demented employee.
This is my special Italian sandwich.
This video from a South Carolina Domino's was a confirmation of our worst fears. Cheese in the nose, then in the sandwich. Proof of the unappetizing truth.
To be served to some unlucky customer.
And the Domino's guy took it to the extreme. He made an ass of himself and his work, literally. The good news, this prize and his cohort behind the camera were both busted for their antics.
Yeah.
Don't forget our sandwiches are on special.
The biggest fear people have from ordering food is that people are very worried and concerned about the health and hygiene of whoever's preparing their goods.
I didn't want to eat it because I wanted to spit in it.
Holy can you believe this?
On the reality show Restaurant Stakeout, owner Willie Deagle placed hidden cameras to see if waiters act out. And they do. This guy fancies himself a comic.
Fresh.
Kind of crusty.
Like your boyfriend's underwear.
Here, a waitress has had enough of a difficult customer's attitude.
I'm so tired of your attitude. I got here and then I got to you.
Some waiters just snap. They take so much abuse and they want to do something to get revenge.
Steve Dublanica wrote Waiter Rant after starting a blog about his misadventures as a waiter for close to 10 years in and around New York City. He says waiters don't go off for no reason. He sees them as victims themselves, victims of rude, dehumanizing, demoralizing customers.
You say 20% of the American dining public are socially maladjusted psychopaths.
Yeah, you just run into this segment of the American public that's very entitled, and they have this I want what I want when I want it kind of attitude.
Look at the waitress!
Like here, when a Red Lobster in Chicago becomes a crime scene after some disgruntled customers literally attack their server.
She's gonna kick that bitch's ass. She threw a drink in her face.
All this because the waitress mistakenly brought the wrong order, which these ladies ate, by the way, before storming out. So, in this battle of bad manners, Steve confesses that servers often strike back, but the obvious assault is the exception. More common, he says, is something more frightening: sabotage. For example, listen to what he did to a big spender who was being rude while trying to impress his date.
And when it came time to pay the bill, I would tell him his credit card had been declined.
And it hadn't?
Oh, of course not. You know, nothing hurts when you're trying to impress a girl than looking like you're broke. It was hysterical.
And then there's something offensive to a sense of decency and a sense of smell. Something known as crop dusting.
You may walk by and leave him a little gift as you pass the
Yeah,
table.
flatulence, yeah.
So you would leave a little bomb there and
Well,
walk
you know,
by?
the beautiful thing is no one would know.
Call it the fog of war. Like in the movie Waiting, all it can take is a waiter who's on edge
Let me ask you something.
and a customer with a tube.
How intelligent do you have to be to take a food order?
When you say, how hard can this job possibly be that you screwed up my order?
Now we got trouble.
Now you're getting into the nuclear option territory.
And hence
Yeah.
comes the hockey puck story.
Yes.
The hockey puck. That's what happens when you criticize how your food is cooked the wrong way. Oh, they'll take your steak back for the third time. But Steve says, here is what may happen to it in the kitchen.
They were so aggravated, they just put it on the floor and used it as a hockey puck. You know, with brooms.
On a kitchen floor?
Yeah, and then they just probably threw on a grill for a second, then put it on his plate and sent it back to him.
Did the guy notice?
Yeah. My friend said he ate it right up. I guess floor cleanser was just what his steak needed.
Waiter frustrations multiply exponentially when you add an entitled movie star or celebrity to the equation. Meet Chase McGowan, waiter to the stars at a well-known Los Angeles eatery.
I had one actress, the fans were turned up too high, the music was turned up too loud, there was too much dressing on her salad. Nothing that I did pleased her.
Chase vents his diva rage on a blog called The Bitter Waiter, where he reviews celebrities' manners and tipping style. But at the restaurant, revenge needs to be served up in more subtle ways.
And I said, we need you to call us a cab. And I come back and I say, your cab's waiting. It's outside in the back by the dumpsters. Of course, the dumpster smells horrible. And I kept looking out the window, watching as these two people waited for a cab that I never called, that never came. So that was probably my most gratifying form of revenge.
But the revenge tactic everyone dreads the most is the idea, just the mere suggestion, of a server adding an extra ingredient to what you are about to eat. The dreaded loogie.
First thing we do is we add a little extra gravy to the mashed potato.
Played out in movie after movie. Bartender Alan Burton says this tactic is more common than anyone likes to admit.
That's really when it reaches the boiling point.
And you've seen that go down?
I have. I worked at a chain restaurant. I saw that happen. Yeah.
But most servers say it is an urban legend.
I've heard that countless times, but did they actually do that? I mean, that's very primitive, angry behavior. I don't think it happens very often, but the threat is there, and the threat keeps the customer in line.
Yep, kind of a cycle. There's a little bit of cycle.
Yeah, maybe.
You all have a little bit of crazy in there. You have to be careful not to incite it.
Yeah.
The good news is all of the tummy-turning terrorism confessed can be easily avoided. Just remember two things. Be nice and tip your server. That's all it takes to avoid becoming another victim of waiter revenge.
What is the warning? What do you want people to know?
All I say is be polite, say please and thank you. That's a big thing.
And tip.
And, oh yeah, of course. And tip, and no one's gonna get hurt.
And if not?
Watch your step.
Next, confessions from the sales floor.
You're like a piece of meat coming in the door.
You may be looking for designer labels, but they've got some labels for you.
We call them a crusty. There's the bloodsucker, and then there's the picky bitches.
And wait till you see the piggy shoppers.
And she's like, so you can do my return? No.
Now, John Berman finds those secrets from the sales rack. Make that racket.
You gotta have this. You really need that. You can't live without these. The smiling salesman, hawking the clothes, cars, even the caskets you buy every day. But you ever wonder what they really think about you?
What's really behind that smile?
I want to kill you.
Not really, probably, but who could blame Freeman Hall after spending 20 years on the floor of big department stores selling clothes and handbags? You wouldn't believe the customers he has lived through, what he says about them, or what he calls them.
There's the bloodsucker, who will not buy anything and ask you a million questions and want to start talking about their bowel movements. And there's the discount rat. They're after the biggest sale ever. You know, they're after free. And then there's the picky bitches, the ones that are taking out their magnifying glasses and analyzing everything.
He unloaded his secret feelings in his memoir, Retail Hell, with particular ire for what he calls piggy shoppers.
Dirty underwear, disgusting.
He went undercover to film some.
Because people don't care. They just, just pick up something. Oh, I don't like that. Throw it on the floor and walk off.
The piggies are the ones that will return handbags with the unspeakable inside.
I open it up and I pull out a dirty bra. And the reason I say dirty is because when I pulled it out, skin flakes fell all over the counter. It was the nastiest, but I was like, I dropped it. And she's like, so you can do my return? No.
But Freeman and all salesmen need to deal with these customers. Why? They need the sale.
If you're walking into a high-end store where it's commission-driven, you're like a piece of meat coming in the door.
Which means if you're looking for a handbag, he has a bag full of tricks to get your money.
Make me buy it.
Well, Jennifer Aniston was wearing that bag in Hawaii on TMZ.
She wasn't.
Sorry, Jen. And then there's all the little lies about it's the it bag of the season. Oh, it looks great with your hair. Oh, it's our last one, and there's 10 in the stock room.
So how do you make a sale to a guy? How did you sell stuff to dudes?
Very easily. I bought this. Oh, okay, I'll take it.
So we're that easy?
Yeah.
If I want to have the best experience I can in a store, what should I do?
If you're a nice person, 9 times out of 10, the salesperson is going to, respond to that.
Nice might work in the department store, but in a car dealership, it puts a big target on your head.
We would love it if the customer didn't know anything.
This doesn't sound like a fair fight.
It's not a fair fight.
This former car salesman only agreed to tell us his secrets if we hid his face. You might say his confession would sound something like, "Forgive me, Father, for I have sold."
Will salesmen flat out lie?
Absolutely.
The ultimate goal, get you to buy and buy now.
Here you are, Mr.
Kurt Russell did it perfectly in used cars.
We're Stan. Here you can look, browse, peek, touch, feel, taste, smell, do anything you want, take all the time you want. Nobody's gonna pressure anybody around here, Stan. You know something though, Stan? I really think you ought to buy this Buick. I think you ought to buy it today, right now. You want
One trick, something he calls what-ifing.
What-ifing is a way to get a customer committed to buying a car right then and there. It could be, what if I could throw in this on the deal, or if I could get you more for your trade-in on the deal.
What if I could get you the car for free? I mean, I can't, but what if I could?
Yeah, well, it doesn't get that low, but it's just the whole concept.
But what if doesn't mean I can or I will.
Exactly. It's a psychology. It's like a chess game.
Another of his favorite moves, it's called peeling the customer off the ceiling.
You hit them on a payment that is way higher than what the car actually goes for, and you sit there and you shut up and you see what happens.
And I suppose one time out of every 100, someone will actually accept that ridiculous.
More than one time. Called a lay down.
Explain.
You present them a deal and they lay down for it.
And you don't want to be that person.
No, if you're a lay down, you overpaid.
Of course, if you're looking for the ultimate lay down, you may need to look here. The last stop for so many shoppers.
I'll be the last person to let you down. People are dying to see us.
30-year-old Caleb Wild is a sixth-generation funeral director in Parksburg, Pennsylvania. By all accounts, the Wild family is a pillar of the community, doing things the right way.
What's the wrong way?
Taking advantage of people in their weakest moment.
What's the most vulnerable point for the customer?
The time of the casket sale. I think funeral directors will see that time, if they're shady, will try and push a customer to buy more than they need to. This one actually over here is the most expensive because it's made out of solid maple wood.
That one runs $3,000, but an aggressive funeral director could push you all the way up to $25,000 and more for caskets like the gold-plated model reportedly used by Michael Jackson or the stainless steel casket Whitney Houston was buried in.
The sky's the limit, and some people will buy out of guilt.
Then there are the confessions told by colleagues, the most infamous deal with cremation and obesity.
Of course, any description here is going to be crude. So it's basically, we've all seen it when we're grilling, and there's too much grease from cheap meat, and there's a grease fire. It's the same idea.
One Georgia crematorium was busted for what they did with the bodies after their incinerator broke down.
They simply threw them in the backyard.
Another turned out to be substituting wood ash for a loved one's remains. But cremation does allow for some unusual possibilities.
You can be turned into a diamond. It's a pretty expensive process. You can be shot to space. You can be put in fireworks and shot off for your memorial.
Finally, there's the ultimate way to go up in smoke.
You can do like they did with Tupac and roll him up in cannabis and smoke it.
Next, think Ace Ventura was just a movie?
I have a package for you.
Sounds broken.
Then look at these real-life movies from YouTube. True confessions about, well, let him say it.
They can, quote-unquote, make people go postal.
And now, John Quinones with Tales from the Delivery Truck.
It's like something out of a movie. Remember Jim Carrey from the opening of Ace Ventura, Pet Detective?
I have a package for you.
Sounds broken.
Most likely, sir.
The internet is rife with videos from angry customers.
Oh.
I placed it in the bushes.
In the snow, right?
In the bushes. You want to talk to him? He's videotaping me right now. Where would you like me to park, sir?
In a parking stall.
This doesn't fit in a parking stall. Call the police.
Catching delivery men flinging packages and giving you the bird in the process.
There are bad apples in every case, and There are people that go to work hating their jobs.
Ryan Bradford worked for the U.S. Postal Service for a year and a half. But he says when he confessed online about what he saw behind the scenes, he got canned.
It can, quote unquote, make people go postal.
Consider this video of a FedEx delivery man which went viral on YouTube. He was caught red-handed chucking a new computer monitor over someone's fence. The person who posted the video wrote, "The sad part is that I was at home at the time with the front door wide open. All he would have had to do was ring the bell on the gate." The worker was removed from the route. There's certainly no shortage of evidence on YouTube. Postal workers going postal. UPS man unleashing a temper.
Yeah, if you have a concern, call the 800 number, buddy.
And FedEx employees taking their frustration out on your box.
Hey, what's up, guys?
This man says he was one of them. He turned to YouTube to say that the stress sometimes led to this kind of destruction.
Eventually, I had to become that person. I had to become the person to just completely destroy stuff. And if you don't get that quota, you can get suspended or fired.
There's this great pressure from supervisors on mail carriers to get back at 4 p.m. Well, obviously, there's to get to the 1600 deadline, people are going to cut corners. They're going to start throwing packages.
It turns out there are some no-nos we've not known about. Oh, that wasn't fragile, was it? Writing the word fragile won't protect it.
They throw packages onto the rollers, and they just totally mess up those packages.
And then there are those packages that just don't arrive at all. One worker at a Long Island, New York post office last month was arrested for stealing $40,000 worth of valuables. The computers and jewelry never did arrive, but they did show up on eBay, leading to the man's arrest.
Old-timers would tell you stories of people stealing Netflix DVDs and gift certificates, especially around Christmas.
All three carriers told us these examples in no way reflect the vast majority of their deliveries, and that they discipline employees who do this. But there's bound to be some pitfalls, like your pet. Bradford confesses that he's not surprised by the YouTube videos showing postal workers dealing with aggressive dogs.
Well, I've never sprayed a dog, and I never plan to. Some of the other postal workers, they're pretty relentless, and they will liberally spray dogs, even if they pose a minor threat to them.
Maybe the dogs know something we don't. No wonder they're so angry. If only they could confess what they've seen.
Next, hiring, firing, and the dirty little secrets of the HR office.
They're definitely dirty. They're not always so little.
What they see in the photos on your desk, even what's in your car.
And that could cost you the job.
That will cost you the job.
And what you don't want them to see.
Wow.
True Confessions continues. Now Deborah Roberts with confessions from the corner office.
So why don't you describe yourself, Mr. Dupree?
I'm not a workhorse. If you're looking for a Clydesdale, I'm probably not your man. Incidentally, what's your policy on Columbus Day?
We work.
Really? Between you, me, and Dupree, most of us know the wrong things to say in a job interview.
Take my resume.
But in her book, Corporate Confidential, former company hatchet woman Cynthia Shapiro reveals that what you don't know could not only prevent you from getting hired, but could get you fired. You are essentially giving all those dirty little secrets that HR does not want us to know.
They're definitely dirty. They're not always so little.
And they can be sneaky. If you see family photos on the interviewer's desk and start bonding over having kids, you may have fallen into a secret trap.
There's an HR director that I know, and when you come in for the interview, she's got a picture of 2 adorable little kids that are facing you in the interview. She doesn't have kids.
This is a trick.
What she has is an edict from upper management to not hire moms.
So if you start talking about your children, she
Yes.
knows right away to strike you off the list.
Exactly right.
That's terrible.
And you'll never know.
And there's even a secret backup plan that might keep moms from getting hired. The "let me walk you back to your car" trick.
They're looking to see if you have a baby seat in the back.
Aha, so they come
which
over here
these
and they...
people do.
And that could cost you the job.
That will cost you the job.
But even if you land the job, Shapiro says prepare for a game of survival where only your boss knows the rules. Violate them and you may end up on the dreaded top secret layoff list. There really are layoff lists?
Yes, there are secret. Yes, there are secret layoff lists.
She confesses that all kinds of things can get you on the layoff list, including, get this, your vacation plans.
Piker asked how much vacation time you get in the first year. Vacation time? You want vacation time? Go teach third grade public school.
But if you don't work in a boiler room like the guys in this film, and you actually get 2 weeks of vacation, Shapiro says no one tells you that you probably shouldn't take them all at once.
Companies move too fast. They'll find a way around you in 2 or 3 weeks, and they'll realize they can do without you, and they will.
And watch out for those Mai Tais and margaritas on your not longer than 1 week vacation.
Oh yeah, we gotta trim some of the fat around here.
Trim the... What do you mean by trim the fat?
I want you to fire the fat people.
Like in the movie, there are horrible bosses, Shapiro says, who'll put you on that layoff list simply for how you look, especially if you're looking too old.
Only executives get to have gray hair. It's not fair, but that's how it goes.
You want to look good, but not too good. Deborah Lee Lorenzano claims she was fired by Citibank because they thought her sexy looks were too distracting, even though she wore business clothes.
The worst feeling was knowing that HR was not there to help me, but to help Citibank.
Citibank insists Lorenzano was let go for poor job performance.
You know what's under that jacket. You're pregnant, have been for a while. So unfortunately you didn't tell us because you would have found out that we thought it's great.
Really? And believe it or not, Shapiro says being pregnant isn't always celebrated, as in this scene, even though there are laws to protect women from being fired.
That's what people like me were paid, big bucks to do, is find the gray areas around the laws that would allow the companies to do what they want to do.
Which is what 25-year-old Tess Adams says happened to her. She'd recently had a stellar performance evaluation when she was suddenly fired for cause. Her bosses said she was a poor employee. Why do you think you were fired?
I think I was fired because I was pregnant.
Do you think that maybe it was related to your work?
There's no way. No way. I never had a complaint until I told him I was pregnant.
In fact, Shapiro says the dirtiest secret of all is that companies rarely tell employees the real reason they wound up on the layoff list, for fear of being sued for wrongful termination.
We're going to need to go ahead and move you downstairs into storage B. No, we have some new people coming in.
If your office space changes for the worst, like in this film, maybe you're being managed out. A clever way companies get rid of unwanted employees, along with dead-end projects. It's all about building a paper trail, proving you're a poor worker.
The HR people are going to kill me for disclosing this on TV, but they will create documentation that makes the employee look like they're not doing their job.
They fake documentation?
They create it. It's all how you look at it, right?
Shapiro says she was fed up with all that deception, so she quit her high-paying HR job and became a whistleblower. Today, she's on the other side of the fence.
Is there an area the company is guiding you towards?
Using her insider knowledge to counsel workers on getting ahead in the workplace. As for her best tip for staying off that company blacklist, even if your boss is like a devil wearing Prada, stay on her good side.
All right, everyone, gird your loins.
The people who are so positive about their job and say great things and openly support the company, they're the ones who are kept on usually, even if they are not the ones with the best skills and talent.
But those are called the brown-nosers and the suck-ups. They're the ones who are safe?
Yeah, those are the ones who are safe.
To learn 20 shocking tips to getting and keeping a job, go to our website at abcnews.com/2020. We'll be right back.
Next, she's not shy about what she does for a living.
I'm a porn star, yes.
But things get tricky when she has to juggle porn with parenthood.
At some point, you will have to make a confession to your son. Everything A to Z.
Well, I'm not going to say everything A to Z.
Now something a little different. It's hard enough for some kids to understand what their parents do for a living, but try working through this next true confession. A woman who's used to showing everything now takes on something even more revealing: being a parent. She cooks breakfast for her 10-year-old.
Come on, honey, we have to go.
Takes him to school every morning.
I love you. Bye.
Cuts his hair. But Natalie Oliveros is not your typical working mom. You're a porn star.
I'm a porn star, yes. And I don't mind that title. Porn has given me everything that I've ever wanted.
This mega porn star must confess, growing up in a close-knit Catholic family, she really wanted to be a nun.
I was always so close to God. I stayed a couple weeks at the convent, but I didn't become a nun because I wanted to have sex.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did. And I said, nuns can't have sex, so I can't be a nun.
True enough, but Natalie had no shortage of other dreams, according to her sister Heather.
She had big dreams of becoming a movie star, Miss America, ballerina.
At just 17, Natalie moved from upstate New York to the Big Apple to pursue a career in ballet. And she would wind up dancing, just not at Lincoln Center. She would wind up across town at a place that's almost as well known, a strip club called Scores.
It was there that I was surrounded by people with the same kind of fantasies that I have.
What happens to men when they come into the zone?
Men just fall in love with her easily. And women too. People are just drawn to her.
One customer was drawn to her big time. You met your future husband when you were dancing in the club.
Right.
But in an odd twist, her walk down the aisle would lead straight to the world of porn.
This man wanted, as a wedding present, for me to make a porno.
Wait, hold on a second. So you're going to get married, and he says, as a wedding present, I want you to make a porn film.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
I think he used the word adult film.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And that was a good idea.
Right. No, I was appalled at the idea.
Appalled, but intrigued.
I figured I could make this one and only movie, and no one will ever hear about it.
But then, that first time in front of the camera, Natalie discovered something profound about herself.
For me, it's easier to expose my body and to be a fantasy than for someone to get into my head and really, then I've become very vulnerable.
You say you caught porn fever after that. What is porn fever?
I have the bug. I can't wait to do it again.
And so Natalie became a porn star named Savannah Sampson.
What I did was very real. There's no anything in my life except this person that I'm with. And then that's probably why I rose so quickly in the industry.
And sometimes Savannah wasn't just acting. So there are many romances for you.
Yeah, many romances. The worst for me is to actually have an orgasm. Can I say orgasm on
Sure,
this?
you just did. Keep going.
Yeah.
She makes it sound so fun, but when pressed, confesses to a much more painful reality. What about when there's like 5 or 6 people in the scene, though?
I'm usually heavily medicated in those situations.
Ah.
Yeah.
Now the covers get pulled off. You would put yourself in an altered state in order to handle a situation like that.
Look, it is what it is. I would have a conversation with myself in the mirror saying, look, you got to do this thing.
Why? Why not? I'm going to leave this. I don't need this. I'm smart. I'm going to go do something else.
I'm a people pleaser. I said I'm going to do this thing, and I'm going to do it. This was a way for me to be the star of my own movies and live that sort of life.
Her on-screen persona was exploding, starring in 6 films a year for the MGM of porn, Vivid Entertainment. But just as a star was born, so was a son.
What was your thought process in terms of, is this right for me now? Because now I have him. Now I've got this little angel.
I knew